Yellow. No live episode today because everyone is busy. So coordinating schedules has become a bit difficult. But I am striving to make sure this episode gets out before the game week drops, which I think is on Saturday. But yeah, this should be out today, i.e., Friday. Now, what we're going to do is very quickly have a look at what happened in the past game week and what is going to happen in the next game week. Sounds pretty simple, I dare say. So there's only one place to start, I suppose, and that is the United Arsenal game. Now, Arsenal came to United. I think they're about 3 points off the top four places, and they were 5 points ahead of United. And United who were waddling somewhere in between eighth and 10th. I'm not quite sure anymore. Needed this win. It was Michael Carrick was still in charge. There were issues with getting Ralf Ragnick's work permit through the door, so he wasn't in charge of this game. Michael Carrick still was in charge. He still picked the team. Ronaldo returned to the squad, and Arsenal were more or less unchanged, barring the forced absence of Bukayo Saka, who was on the bench. He wasn't not like he didn't make the squad, but he was on the bench. Now, this game was interesting because a lot of funny things happened in it, and it will forever be known as the Premier League classic, or rather, starring Fred the Red, because Fred was everywhere in this game. His imprint is all over this game if you pay close attention, or even if you don't pay close attention, because number one, he steps on De Gea's Achilles, renders him prostrate on the ground, and which then leads to Emil Smith Rowe just taking a pot shot into an empty net and scoring. Somehow that goal is allowed to stand because Martin Atkinson delays blowing the whistle, even in spite of seeing the goalkeeper on the ground, the one person that stands in between the goddamn net. And somehow Arsenal are in the lead, and then United start to play, but they don't really threaten. And I think eventually they grow into the game. Arsenal did start the game on a high. They attacked United like most teams have done at Old Trafford, especially in the last 3 to 4 home games, and were rewarded for it in bizarre fashion, but were rewarded for it nonetheless. But it took a great goal by Bruno Fernandes, lovely setup by Fred, to equalize just before halftime, and then on the other side of halftime, Ronaldo gives United the lead, a much deserved lead. United were definitely in the ascendancy. Not before David De Gea pulled off an exceptional save to deny, I think it was Gabriel, who from a corner. No, and then within 2 minutes, as is standard normal service with United these days, they were back level after Alex Telles failed to track Martinelli's run. He sets it up for Martin Odegaard, who kind of toe pokes it into the bottom corner of the net. And Arsenal are back in the game, and it's on a nice edge once more. It takes a real brain dead decision by Martin Odegaard to put United back in front, and real brain dead, because I remember watching this in real time and going, Ben, and I am sure like some 6,000 miles away from the actual stadium, and Martin Atkinson, who was 2 feet away, said no penalty, because I have no idea what he was seeing or why he was trying to make the game about himself, but that was weirdly the case. And then play continues. Fred doesn't doesn't complain, and I'm just like, okay, I guess Fred must have felt contact, or like there must have been contact on the ball, but no, play is paused. It is brought back because on the replay you see that Martin Odegaard has gotten nowhere near the ball. Clear cut pen. Ronaldo straight down the middle, bang, 3-2. United see the game out from there. It's really funny because United are obviously walking on glass ankles at this point, and extreme, and also another glass analogy, very prevalent glass jaw. So no team really scares them these days. They don't really scare any teams these days. So Arsenal were brave, but then they were also timid, because they didn't. What's the word I'm looking for? They didn't capitalize on the great start that they had. They had an unfortunate but a great start. They were definitely the team in the ascendancy in the first 20 minutes, and should have kept their leg on United's throat, and that would eventually have seen out the threat, quietened the crowd, and gotten them the win. But they somehow retracted into their shells, and this is something that I've noticed with Mikel Arteta's system, is that he mm, continues to park the bus repeatedly in games where he goes ahead and takes the lead and tries to hit teams on the counter, when in fact that the personnel that he has, he's not very capable of doing so. Yes, Martinelli looked lively, but with the likes of Aubameyang, who's, let's be honest, has lost quite a few yards of pace, he's not a hold-up man. It kind of boggles the mind as to what he really is now. I mean, he's a striker in a weird transitory phase in his career, which is neither here nor there for him, poor dude. But it's not doing wonders for him by being at Arsenal. And I think for Arsenal's best interests, it's best if they move him on. I think I was watching an AFTV interview before this, and they mentioned how he should probably move to the MLS. And I think it's kind of getting to the point where a man who was so reliant on pace to be his his calling card as a striker would continue to consistently make those runs in behind the defense, is now struggling to do so. And he looks like a striker short on confidence. That glaring miss against Newcastle springs to mind if you if one has to just remember what happened in that game. But that aside, I still think that Arsenal team is very poor. All the talk of them being a top four contender seems a bit premature, especially given United's blip, which I now think is over because we're coming in with a better coach who definitely is one of the more tactics heavy, who's definitely who falls more on the tactics side of management as opposed to man management, which again both are the perfect combination. Would be the right man for Man United. And I'm still skeptical of Ragnick because I feel he's been out of management for 2 years. There's a hint of a Van Hal around him, and there are plenty of egos in that dressing room. So it's only 6 months, but I'm excited for what he's going to do beyond those 6 months, where United do eventually appoint a manager that carries the ethos that he's laid the groundwork for. Now, that's on it about United. Ronaldo, obviously, at 36, continues to defies critics. There was one moment where he pressed, and I found that to be quite hilarious because he just, for all the critics saying that Ronaldo doesn't really press, it was quite entertaining to see. And another home game at Old Trafford, another Arsenal bottle job. Funnily enough, the only recent victory they've had was last year, which was also decided on a penalty. Paul Pogba and Hector Bellerin, for those of you who don't remember. And there were no fans in the stadium, so Old Trafford is not exactly a happy hunting ground for the Arsenal. But Arsenal aside, let's take a look at some of the other games this week. The ones that particularly stand out were the Merseyside derby, which got off to a horrible start for an Everton side lacking confidence. Liverpool were 2-0 up thanks to goals from Jordan Henderson and Mo Salah. Before Demarai Gray just struck back completely against the run of play, and then got the crowd back on its feet. And Everton were in the ascendancy, but unfortunately for them, in the second half, from an Everton corner, Seamus Coleman makes a mistake, and then Mo Salah pounces, races down the other end, makes it 3-1. Diego Jota scores a wonderful near post finish, almost Aguero-esque for those for those purists out there who know what I'm talking about. High and out of the keeper's reach, especially Jordan Pickford, who, let's face it, isn't really Mr. Big Arms now, is he? The result puts Liverpool, I think they're still a point behind Chelsea. They're 2 points behind Chelsea. I'm so sorry, my table math is absolutely atrocious. But they are on par for the league title. City, once again, routine win at Aston Villa. That juggernaut has started rolling, and now it's just a points collecting machine. Bernardo Silva there getting the goal, the deciding goal. Chelsea going 2-1 winners at Watford. Reece James out. They're in a bit of an injury crisis, so I don't quite know who they're going to start on the weekend, specifically from a fantasy perspective. So it remains to be seen. Spurs looked good today. Spurs against a Brentford side that are rather hot and cold. Were routine 2-0 winners. An own goal from Brentford and a human son tapping seal the points there. Um, Nothing else to particularly write about this game week. And those were the United result and the Merseyside derby result were two of the standouts. Now, with looking forward to the next game week's fixtures, it promises to be a very exciting one. I think those of us who are fantasy purists are looking at Spurs versus Newcastle, which I think versus Norwich, because that seems to be some sort of a point magnet. Conte has really got the best out of his. He's getting the best out of his playing 11. Ben Davies looks so good. Like he did cause the own goal today, but he's apparently had an exceptional performance. But the weekend kicks off on Saturday with West Ham against Chelsea. London derby, always exciting. Think Chelsea do win this, and I think they win this 2-1. I think they go 2-0 and West Ham score late on, but it's not enough to rescue points, and I think Chelsea go home safe and sound. Newcastle Burnley. Now Newcastle are exciting because there's definitely like a framework that Eddie Howe is putting in, but I don't quite know if it's going to come soon enough against a Burnley side that is notorious for testing patience of the various teams across the league. So I think Burnley win this comfortably. They take a 2-0 lead and they leave St James's Park. Southampton Brighton. I feel Brighton are on the way up, and they are one striker away from from actually being a top 6, top 7 team. I was listening to the Stadio podcast the other day, and Musa Konga mentioned Rafa Mir, who for me is a Wolves fantasy manager, football legend. So a football manager, fantasy football. Wow, worlds collide, I suppose. But Rafa Mir, he says, would be a great fit for Brighton. Is having a great time over in Spain. Would be something. I think he's at Sevilla, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, Brighton definitely need of a striker because they create a lot. Graham Potter's going places. He is, I think, a season away from the next big job, and I really hope he gets it because the man truly deserves it. Wolves Liverpool. Wolves don't look like they're pulling up any trees. As a matter of fact, they look like they've regressed a little bit against a Liverpool side that are absolutely flying. I expect Liverpool to walk away with this comfortably. 3-0 winners on the day. Watford Man City. Vicarage Road can sometimes be a testing place, like the other Manchester club found out. But this is Man City we're talking about, masters of the steamroller. So I think they get out of there with a 2-1, much like the West Ham Chelsea game. They score 2 goals, ride the game out, and Watford just get a consolation right at the death. Now Leeds Brentford. So Brentford have just looked bad. They've looked bad for a while, and I don't think the game against Leeds is going to change that opinion because I feel Leeds have enough in the tank to dispose of them comfortably. I think no, I wouldn't say comfortably. I'd say they're just about get past the door. A KG 2-1 match. 2-1 is what I'm looking at. And now this is I probably because one, I'm a United fan, so I guess this is the fixture of my game week because United play Palace. Patrick Vieira returns to Old Trafford, one of United's old nemesis. This time returning as a manager, and it's going to be exciting to see. He brings a Crystal Palace, who I had pitched to go down, or rather just about escape relegation, but they're performing well above those expectations. So it's going to be interesting to see how that game unfolds. Ronaldo came off in the United game. I'm not quite sure if it was due to injury or because he was nursing some sort of he was just a precautionary measure. But I expect him to start this weekend. I think Cavani will also be back in the squad. I know Rafael Varane for another few weeks was what Michael Carrick said. So we'll probably still see Maguire and Lindelof back in defense. Spurs Norwich, which I alluded to earlier, I see Spurs blitzing Norwich like easy 3-0 winners in spite of Dean Smith's impressive start at Carroll Road. Villa Leicester could possibly be the game of the weekend as a neutral, because both teams love attacking. Steven Gerrard obviously has gotten into Villa Park at the moment, is looking to make Villa more sturdy, also a lot more potent on the attacking threat. And Leicester are leaking in goals, but they're also scoring goals for fun. The 4-2 win last week again was testament to just how good they can be on their day. So I expect this to be a high entertaining draw. It's on a Sunday, so last game on a Sunday as well. So it should be fun. The final game of the game week is Everton versus Arsenal. And something tells me Everton win this. And because I think I saw enough in their performance at Goodison Park against Liverpool for me to be confident that when Arsenal do go there, they will be given a sturdy test. But I think Everton, I assume with Richarlison probably gaining one more match under his belt, and Salomon Rondon, who was impressive against Liverpool until he was taken off. I'm not quite sure if he's injured or if he's also was taken off as purely from a tactical perspective. But I still think there could be an upset on the cards in spite of Everton's bad form over the last few game weeks. So I think Everton run out maybe like a breezy 2-1 winners there. I guess that is that. From an FPL perspective, just if set and forget Captain Stala, Son is a great option. Harry Kane looks better, is getting into better positions, looks interested. Some Spurs fans say, okay, he's definitely not half-assing his way across the pitch. Looks definitely interested. We are approaching that December congestion uh, fixture pile up, right? So we know what to expect. Word of advice if you're playing FPL for the month of December: don't get sucked into Pep Roulette. Don't get sucked into Tuchel Roulette. Just play to your gut. Keep calm, Captain Salah. He'll guide you through all of your FPL troubles. That's me. And before I go, I just love for you guys to like and subscribe. Like the video, please subscribe because it really helps us grow. And I hope to be doing the preview back with the boys next week. And then I think we'll be able to do the preview and then the review and the preview for the week off for the game week. And then I'll try and see what we can do depending on how the next few weeks pan out. That's me. I will see you on the next episode, everyone. Take care.